What day is it?
Day 3 here in Tennessee. Not a lot happened for any of us yesterday. I guess we saw Longbeard off the road, and then saw a few down the bottom when we walked in there, but nobody really had any major action yesterday. So we are heading into a different spot this morning. A spot that Warb's actually been back in before. Yeah, just go wake him up this morning.
All right.
It's the start of day 3 here in Tennessee, and Warb and I are all the way back down in this back field on this chunk of public. We've got a bird goblin pretty close over here. Trying to get a pinpoint right now, and then we'll move in and let him come down and call him in. We're basically right at the back of this system of fields that runs back in here, and then it's just timber along the creek down to the end of the public. Yeah, we need to go. He's gobbling. All right, let's do it. So it's our first time in this little area, and we've never crossed the creek, so we didn't want to do that in the dark. So we're just trying to kind of get the lay of the land, so when we came in, we got close enough where we could hear birds gobbling on the roost, which looking at the map, we thought it would be somewhere down in here, but we didn't want to come. There's a ferret, or a mink. See it running along the
Yeah, I just saw it.
Okay. Anyway, all sorts of wildlife in here. So we just found a spot where we could cross the creek, and we're getting into this bottom. It's fairly open, but we're just going to kind of pick our way through. When you're coming into a brand new area, sometimes it's smart to be a little bit more patient and put eyes on it in the daylight, so that way when you come in the next time when it's dark, you know exactly where you're going instead of blowing something off the roost. That bird that we were on this morning only gobbled once or twice once he hit the ground. Hopefully we'll get up and be able to hear something. They've been pretty quiet after that first hour a day.
You hear him? He's gobbling a lot. And I think he's way back in there. Do you want to drive up to
that access up there and get going?
Yeah.
Might as well. We got a lot. We got 15-20 minutes before he even thinks about flying down. Just get in there on him as close as we can.
It's gonna be frustrating if we drive all the way over there and then they're just gobbling right here, you know? That one's going crazy though. Like just everything that made any sound gobbled at it.
Well, Zach and I snuck up to this ridge here, kind of right above and across the river from where that bird was gobbling. But we heard off the bridge. We heard him gobble once or twice when we were getting out of the car to walk in. And I think I might have heard him once or twice when we were getting back in here, but since then, we haven't heard him gobble since he hit the ground for sure. As you can hear, the highway's right behind me, so even if he is down in that private land field down there and he's gobbling his head off, I don't think we're going to be able to hear him. The hope was that even though he's roosted on the private over there, as you guys saw in the first video, they're plenty willing to fly back and forth across this river at any point, especially if they're in the right mood. There's a bunch of scratching up on this ridge here. I know Warb's done it here in the past, so I don't know what the exact plan is here. We might scoot up, but it's hard to deal with this highway right now, especially if we can't hear a bird gobbling at all. But it's a beautiful morning. Hopefully Sam or John are on some birds.
Found another little shoal crossing right here. There's a turtle out there in it. This could be a good spot for us to come across quietly in the early morning. We've got another open bottom here in front of us. It looks like real good turkey habitat. So we're just easing along this path right here along the edge of the creek. Because as you can tell, there's a little bit of a rise, and then it flattens out up there on top. And that's where we expect the birds are at, is up top. We just heard a gobble, guys, right over here. Not very far. Within 150 yards. Pretty close. Longer, louder yelp. What's that? Longer, louder yelp. Gobble. Yep. He just couldn't hear it the first few times. Yep. Alright, he's right down there. Yep. Right. I mean, close. Yeah, he is. I think we could probably slide back to that deadfall, don't you? Yeah, I think we can. Go, go, go. Right there. See him? Not yet. Do you? No, but he's definitely coming. Where's he at? Man, that bird came by close. Warm saw him probably about 45 yards. I never got to look at him because I was positioned a little bit different, but we're gonna cut back around to where he was gobbling, set up again and call and see if we can get him to come back. Yeah, he just skirted us up through these woods. Looking for that hen, that's what I was worried about in them open woods like that. Yeah. Yeah, once you get over this top, it's wide open. It's flat up there, as y'all could probably see in the footage. Yeah. But we let him move off. Now we're gonna hook around to the spot that he was gobbling and try to bring him back up through there. It's obvious he likes something about that. Yep. The middle of those woods right through there. So somewhere right in here is where he was strutting around at when we were over on the other side. So fire up just again. We could probably get at them trees right up there. Yep. Yep. In the shadows. Go sit up at that double trunk. Yeah. Yep. There he is. There he is. Gobble. Gobble. Get right up there.
He's definitely coming, Sam.
Yep.
How far was he that last time?
I mean, probably 100.
He's definitely coming.
Yep.
Drumming.
He's right over here.
See him?
Yep. I think I do.
What?
I think I see him. Oh no, he's going left. Coming towards us. Yep, coming towards us. He's
Still can't see.
I can see him. He's kind of skirting just a hair left. You see him? Yep. I'm gonna have to swing. Okay, 35, 30, 25 maybe.
You have to kill him.
I'm gonna have to swing on him.
Whenever he gets behind a tree,
Yep.
I have to do it. At least you didn't take a bad shot at him.
Yeah.
Could you not keep, when he was moving left, could you not keep it with him?
No, because I'm left-handed.
Right.
So,
So you went as far as you could go.
yeah. I should have just switched to right-hander when he was out there. It's as good as it gets right there.
Yep. Coming right down there at us.
Man, I can't believe I messed that up.
Oops. Sounds like somebody might have missed that one.
That's the first one we've called in down the gun goblin like that this year.
Yeah.
He just did not want to commit over there to our first setup. He wanted to be in this little opening down through this timber that we're set up in, and there ain't much through here. I mean, it's pretty flat. And y'all notice we let him work off gobbling and then picked up our gear and circled all the way around in here right to the spot that he came from. This is where he came up out of when we called him in the first time, and I just got a little bit of footage of him moving through the timber. And then we got him fired up again. I mean, we saw him go through there with no hen, gobbling. He just didn't want to commit to that first setup. So then we got into the spot that he wanted to be in after watching him come through this little low gap right here, whatever you would call it in the woods. Circled around, used the terrain to our advantage, then got over here, did some aggressive calling to get him fired back up, and then we put it away. We didn't call again. Just scratching the leaves a few times as he was coming in. Once we got to the spot that he wanted to be in, he was just bobbing right through here, looking.
I just tried to wait for him to get behind the tree.
Yeah, the
swing
problem
and kill
is
him.
at that point he's looking at you,
Right. Right.
you know,
Oh, I know.
horizontally.
Yeah.
Or, well, I don't know how you'd say that.
Well, he's basically paralleling us.
Yes,
And
he's
then,
paralleling us, and he's looking straight into us, and Sam is almost silhouetted by that point. You know, if he comes down the gun barrel, he's got that tree to break him up, But by the time the bird gets all the way over here behind the camera, he's looking at us from the side. These turkeys don't mess around either.
No.
Like if they see something,
Yeah, that one was gone.
yeah, he was gone. Peace. How do you feel?
Defeated. Yeah, just played that one wrong. I blame my parents really for being left-handed. Yeah. No, that was my fault. Just not setting up on him right, for not being prepared for him to skirt one way or another. I mean, he could have come across this and I could have killed him all day, I guess, but just the way he was coming across here, it just sounded like he was gonna come back either straight in or cut across this flat out to our right.
Still a sweet hunt.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
Real
I mean, it's the
pretty.
first one really like responding to the call good and like hammering all like the whole time.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Like you say.
Go find another one, I guess.
Jake, there's a bird gobbling in this field right here. I've heard him twice now. Jacob, sometimes you're just gonna have to take a nap. You're gonna have to take a couple hour nap.
Let it warm up, let him fire up.
I thought I heard him gobble. That's why I was sitting back there. And he definitely just gobbled.
Did he?
Like,
I was moving, so I didn't hear it. He's right here, though.
right, straight to the right. He's gotta be in that field to the right. I mean, he's straight. Straight that way.
If all else fails, we can just loop around this field and get in that one to the south of him.
There he was. Do you hear him?
No.
He's a long way over there. Let's loop down to the south of him.
Go right around.
Mm-hmm. We might want to move like pretty quick. Maybe as quick as we can. I think this might be it. I think this might be the time.
Right up there on the crest of the hill.
Is he by himself?
That's all I see is his head. He just popped it over. There was a deer blowing at us. But I'm gonna crawl this decoy up here where he can see it, and then I'll crawl back right here, I think.
Okay. There he was. Got closer. He's in trouble somehow. Significantly closer.
Yep.
Oh, there he is. I see him.
Where from the decoy? Where is he, Zach?
He's just walking right at the decoy. You're good. Wait. Just wait.
You want him? Can I kill him?
Yep.
I just want to make sure he's not getting up because I shot through a lot of brush.
What?
I just want to make sure he's not getting up because I shot through a lot of brush.
To you.
He's toast.
Did you not have a shot for the whole time?
I'll show you.
I'm shaking bad.
Wait till you hear me breathing on the wireless.
Dude, that was so sweet.
So you got him good?
Oh,
Heck yeah.
I didn't know. I
I
didn't
popped
know.
out on the edge there and I could just see his head. And did you ever hear that deer blowing? Ran right up by him. And he was popped strut up there and I could just see his head. He's just strutting up there looking back and forth, I'm sure, on the highest point of the field.
Well, that's exactly where I thought he was when he got one. Dude, yes. That's awesome, man. I told you this is the one.
Yeah. Midday goblin like
Midday
that.
goblin like that.
Ooh.
Sometimes you just gotta take a nap out in an old pasture.
Seriously though.
Yeah, you have to sometimes.
I mean, this time of day has been better for most of the people that we've talked to than right off the roost.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you can get right under one, most of the birds are with hens right now.
I think Fred's shot every bird that he
But
shot.
I just read his post today. We just did that podcast with Fred down in Alabama. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's killed 3 birds already this year, probably 4 by today. And he said, I think he said all of them were between 1 and 4 o'clock when the birds were kind of splitting up. I could have shot for the longest time, but he got nervous there at the end, or he at least turned around, and I was like, I'm not going to let him get away. But until he got nervous, I wasn't going to shoot through all that stuff. I'll show you what I was dealing with. But so off the bat, I just had my barrel pointed right off the edge of where it's thick there, just because I knew there was a chance that he was just going to walk right into the decoy without holding up like that. So I was just pointing it right off the edge, waiting for you to give me the green light. But he kind of hung up
like right in there for me. He just danced around right in there. And I just kind of slowly, I had my right shoulder locked against this thing at one point. And then when I shot him, I was all the way like this. But luckily, I like the 2 beads on this gun that you can just line up so you know you're down on it and everything's good. And I could shoot sideways like that. I had one opening that you said I could shoot him. I'm like, oh, I'll just wait. He's not nervous yet. Had he got nervous, I could have made it work through there too, just the one small spot. But
All right, what's your final guess?
I'd
Mine's
say 33 is pretty close. I'll say 31.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 30, 31, 32, 33 and a half. But I think he was probably actually closer when I shot. So
Nailed it.
good work, Zach. Your favorite number?
Yeah.
Just your standard 2-year-old. He's got a heck of a snoot on him, though. I don't know if you guys saw him whipping it around, but he was pretty.
That might up the.
He was pretty proud of that thing.
Yeah, dude, he was. I think what's cool too, the coolest is that he was up there and we were over there, and we worked all the way around him.
Yeah.
So we were right, and we were closer to him probably when we heard him gobble. Actually.
We got to a point though where he was more willing to come to our setup. We'll show you on the map, but he would have had to come through some thick, nasty stuff to get to us. And I'm sure he was down in this part of the field at one point during today even. It's a lot easier to call turkeys to a spot that they want to be in, and I'm not much of a caller, so I have to be in spots that they want to be in.
I think another thing that, I guess to me, immediately it was like, if we go right at him, we're going to be either bumping him because we got to come through this thick, it's basically a thick hedgerow. I mean,
yeah,
it's not just a fence row, it's pretty deep in
Which
there.
is what most fields around here are.
And we walked all the way around. I mean, we walked so far away that we couldn't hear him gobbling anymore, and I'm sure he probably was. And I think the biggest thing in my head was that he's probably not going that way. He's probably not going back towards the access. He's probably coming down here. The river's down here. I mean, there's more habitat down here. And we figured, immediately, like, let's try to get in front of him.
Especially early in the year. I mean, I guess he was by himself. That's the first time. But if you're hunting like a flock of turkeys, henned-up turkeys, you're going to have to be where they want to be. And it helps even if it's a lone bird. But, I mean, I know a lot of guys are probably dealing with turkeys that are henned up. And as seasons start to open up in the north, you're going to be dealing with henned-up turkeys. And the biggest thing is just being exactly where the whole flock wants to be. Right in that opening up there, though, I could just see his head when I popped out on the edge of the field. And I guess, like, if you know that there's a chance that there's birds in the field, or if you know for a fact that there's birds in the field, you got to be really, really careful about how you go about getting into the field with him if you're going to try to do that. That's the hardest part about one of the hardest parts about field turkeys, I think, is if they're already out there and you're not on them right off the roost, it's how do you get in there? We use the topography, we use the shadows, and we got all the way around them.
Because, I mean, this time of day, hunters start bailing off these fields. It's middle of the week, people are going to work.
I was thinking about that earlier today, is like, when these birds are going to the fields, at least when we're hearing them like get out towards the fields, is after all the hunters are most likely leaving the woods.
For sure.
Let's go show this bird to those guys.
Hey, what's going on, bud?
You guys out hunting?
No, we are at the library.
Oh, that's why you're talking quiet.
Yeah. Did you guys kill anything?
We were wondering if you knew any photographers that would take pictures of a dead turkey.
Yes, indeed.
Meet at camp?
Yep.
All right, see you then. He's like, they got one. They're in the library editing. I thought they were hunting. You whispered at first.
Yeah,
Like, you guys out?
I figured they were hunting.
That's gonna kill Warp. Oh, we gotta get out there. Birds are gobbling.
You look so good doing that, dude.
Yeah, I was trying the whole time.
Yeah, like that walk was like it was your normal walk, but that looks cool.
That's a good closing shot there to transition into us going back to.
I think what we could even do too, I think I got this vision, okay, so that you could even like push his feet in and then shut that.
After I close it, it'll dip to black, and then next time you'll see us, we'll be at camp with those guys.
Just go ahead and push those in there and then shut that.
So I move these underwear.
Hey, Jacob.
Attaboy.
Dude, he's gorgeous.
Oh, man.
How's it going?
Sam.
Mike.
Good to meet you.
Nice.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, dude.
Take over.
Hey, man.
Mike.
Aaron.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
They're dying today.
Oh, yeah, we owe him. Yeah.
Yeah. Should've.
It's a sad one.
Yeah, it's a sad one.
I'm glad we could happy the episode. Of
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you measure
That'd
him?
be awesome.
Nah.
No, we haven't done that yet.
We should do that.
I got a tape.
We should do that.
I got a tape. I got a tape in the trunk.
His beak's a little rotten. He's got a long snoot. He was
How do-
shaking. He was shaking it
Oh.
around.
How do I get into your
I filmed him
trunk?
shake that snoot a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
He has a long snoot, guys. He was shaking that thing.
He was
Snootster.
proud of it.
He's a snootster.
Here, you do it. I don't want to measure my own bird.
Yeah, you can't measure your own bird. It's
Against the no rules rule.
against the long bird, no rules. Oh, Jake.
Oh,
We've got a
good.
We've got a season record. We've got a 48-incher, folks.
Are you serious?
Unbelievable.
Yes! We're rolling big in Tennessee.
Right.
We got a 48
Nice
incher.
work. 4-footer.
Well done.
That's pretty awesome, man.
That's hilarious. We were just talking about that the other night.
yeah.
It's like the majority of
It's a good
birds are
heft.
48. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna cut this clip. We'll take some photos. You guys can see some of that.
All right, well, we got back to camp, showed those guys the bird, and we got Sam with us, who is a professional photographer, so we figured he'd give you a little bit of the rundown maybe on how he goes about taking trophy photos and maybe some of the gear he uses.
Sure. That's easy. Well, it's not easy. But first trick is to try to, like, shoot a turkey or shoot a deer or whatever, try to keep it in as good a shape as possible. If you have a turkey and you shoot a turkey, don't just throw it in the back of the pickup and jam a bunch of stuff on it and then expect to get good photos after. So when it comes to shooting trophy photo locations, it's like definitely shoot some photos right there in the field. Like that's when everything, all the memories and everything, the smiles are gonna be the biggest at that very moment. But if you're hunting a specific location and there's this place that kind of gives a lot more story to the entire trip, move the animal there, shoot some extra photos just so down the road you can look back and it'll bring back just that many more memories.
And the reason we're shooting them here is because Zach and I have pretty much started on this bridge behind us every day. That's where we've been listening, so
Yep.
hopefully
Probably
in
get
50,
some-
60 years we'll be able to look back and we'll remember exactly where it was from.
50, 60 years, we're gonna be old, man.
I know.
Also, like at camp too. Camp's a good one too.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
And I guess I've always just liked getting really nice trophy photos for a long time now, is because I don't really mount anything. I just would rather have a nice picture because the mount's just going to deteriorate over time.
Yep.
Pictures you can keep in good
Last
shape
forever. That's right.
snap some.
All right, go ahead, hoist them up. So we're gonna move Jake around a lot, but right now I'm shooting on a little bit longer lens, a telephoto lens, and I almost always shoot, I get back far, but then so I can zoom all the way in with the lens to keep where Jake is still gonna be in the frame. And what this does, it doesn't really compress the photo, but that's what they say basically. It flattens out the foreground and the background a little bit and allows you to blur out more of the background and just gives it a little bit better overall feel for like just a real clean, crisp photo. So
That's why we're standing
yeah,
so
that's
far
what,
away
yeah.
from them.
Yeah. The other thing, a big tip is never shoot the photo from above. Like always be at least level, if not down a little bit. If you only do that, your photos will be 100 times better.
That looks cool.
I mean, I think.
That's a cool photo.
Yeah, one of the other tips that we haven't said yet is you're gonna want to say a lot of things like "work it." Maybe mention what lens changed.
So I went from one extreme to the opposite. So this is a 14mm, just super wide. And this allows you to just get incredibly close, but you can also tell it brings in so much info from the background that you're able to tell a little bit more of the story in a single image. And it gives you the opportunity to do some kind of unique shots where you can, you know, I could shoot down here and I still have Jake's face in the frame, even though I'm shooting at the neck. So it just gives different perspective to everything.